Hi everyone, how are you doing? This is Amanda. I hope you're well, and let's get into the reading for July, shall we? First thing to say also is that we are nudging towards 70k on this channel. Thank you so much for all of the people that have subscribed and supported this channel since. Some of you have been there since 2012 when I started. Some of you are very new and have just found me. I'm going to do something special when we get up to 70,000, and I've also got some goodies as well. I got some goodies, guys. Going to be doing a few little giveaways of sprays and cards and things like that, just to give something back for all of your support. So to be in with a chance of that, make sure you have subscribed to the videos or my channel rather, and make sure if you can and you like my content to please like it, because that way YouTube shows it to people who are new, and that's how they find us. So I mean, Metatron often gives people a push. The number of people that say to me, I've no idea how I stumbled on your video, but here I am. And it's like, well, I sort of know, because it's like Metatron's nudged that. You know, Spirit does that all the time. I've always believed in organic growth for this channel, and I think the flower, which it is hopefully, has bloomed very nicely and robustly. So long may it prosper, hopefully. Okay, July. Where to start? Metatron is saying to me, July is a month a bit like a bag of licorice all sorts. Sounds a bit like Forrest Gump, doesn't it? Life is a box of chocolates. But no, it's I'm being shown a bag of licorice all sorts. I love licorice all sorts. Do you have those in other parts of the world? If not, you're missing out, guys. But the point is, you never know what you're going to pick when you put your hand into the bag. Is it going to be your favourite? Is it going to be the one that actually there's too much of and you want to put it back, you don't really want it? Or is it one that actually you hate? It's a bit of a mixed bag month, is what Metatron is trying to say. But there is some extraordinary beauty and goodness within this month, as well as a sense of bubbling excitement and joy. And I think this is probably linked into the energy of love. And potential unions coming together. I feel very excited for us as a collective. I really, really can feel it. And it almost feels as though it's coming in for some people, not everybody, but for some people, at a time when the world, you know, you look around and actually sometimes it feels as though there's not a lot to celebrate. So it's a beautiful month of duality where we're going to have to be very careful in terms of how we are viewing the world, how we are viewing our life. And it's almost like you need to be expecting that when you put your hand into the bag, and the bag is life, it's the universe, it's not going to give you a dud, okay? It's not going to give you that furry one that actually somebody had down the back of the sofa and has put back in the bag, you know? It's actually going to be the best, okay? The best. So expect the best and you can find it. Expect life to give you the worst and you can attract that in as well. It's a very powerful month in terms of your thoughts, manifestation and flow, or your thoughts and blocking and self-sabotage. I mean, it's always the case, but I just feel that July, certainly where I am sitting, which is the summer months, the light is shining a spotlight very, very brightly onto particular areas within ourselves and particular areas in the world. I was also shown by Metatron this morning a roving spotlight, a bit like, you know, remember the days when we all used to go and see bands or musicians, you know, go into a gig, and the spotlight, of course, would always be on the star, you know, the lead singer, for example. And then towards the end of the show, they give a round of applause to the people on the drums, people on the guitar, you know, whatever, backing singers, and the spotlight goes to them. And it's a month where the spotlight is going to be rotating like a disco ball, Metatron is saying. I mean, I'm actually being serious. It's actually going to be quite blinding, because I'm also hearing whiteout in terms of the energy, which is almost like there's so much to take in. You could become a bit like that rollerball, which is just a bit, you know, very beautiful, but can be a bit, it's disorientating. It's like, you know, what is real? What is reality? Where do I look next? And where do I look next in terms of good stuff, but equally also some horrors as well? Okay, I'm talking collectively there at this moment in time. So we're going to have to breathe. We're going to have to breathe through this month. We're going to have to pace ourselves, and we're going to have to just, almost to a degree, I mean, it's interesting, the further that you get along your spiritual path, you still care just as passionately about subjects that, you know, are out there, but you have to also be able to embody a degree, emphasis on the word degree, of detachment. Because if you are just 100% in energetically to everything that spirit is showing the world at the moment, okay, you're going to be flat on the floor, exhausted, totally depleted, and no good to anybody. So my guidance would be that when things happen in the world and it pulls at your heart and you feel as though you want to be there and be present, put your energy there, but you can't put your energy into everything, okay? And also this is true for yourself. There are going to be a number of issues that may be arising within you. There may be a number of opportunities that arise around you. But again, you can't put your energy into everything. So it's a month for boundaries as well, okay? Let me go back to one of the two words that I've just used, whiteout. I heard that very clearly today. And I pulled a card on it, and the card that came out was the King of Swords, which is really encouraging because the King of Swords is an energy of truth and clarity and precise timing. So things are coming up in the collective in July at the right time, in the right way, ordained by spirit, and as they arise, we will also be given the coping mechanisms to be able to deal with them. So my attention, for example, is going to the disclosure of all of the Indigenous children's deaths in parts of Canada, which are being recorded. And I know, you know, the nation is in a lot of sorrow with regard to that. And I send my light and my prayers. But please also realise that what happened in Canada has happened in many other countries as well. So the spotlight at the moment, for example, is on Canada and the discovery of those graves. But underlying it is an abuse, is a systematic abuse, and it is linked also into institutionalized religion. And so because it is linked into the institutionalized religion, which has covered up these abuses for hundreds and hundreds of years, it hasn't just happened in one place. Most of you on my channel know that, but I think it's important, again, maybe we're just meant to, you just deal with what you can deal with. So if you're in Canada, you send healing to that situation, you know, that's where you put your attention. But Metatron's drawing me very strongly to my part of the world as well, particularly Northern Ireland, where, again, you know, this isn't new news here, but the systematic abuse within the orphanages, run usually by, you know, nuns or usually by nuns. So there's this thing about abuse by women, you know, which... that, I mean, it's going to be a difficult pill to swallow, that, because we don't like to think of women as the abusers. But what Metatron is saying, of course, it's not just women, it's men as well, but I'm talking about the situation in Northern Ireland and nuns. He says it needs to be brought up to be cleared, obviously for the children and for their voice to be heard and remembered. And for that to be healed, number one, but equally it's linked into the rising of the divine feminine. And so for the divine feminine energy to rise collectively, properly, and be birthed, you have to be looking at what women have also been capable of. In the same way that the birth of the divine masculine energy in our world is about stripping away the powers of the old patriarchal energy that men carry, So unfortunately it's duality, and it's linked into, for the birth of the new to come in, we have to be clearing out the past. And I just think Metatron is saying, please, can you take it a step at a time, in digestible chunks, is what he's saying to me. Okay. You are meant to be living a joyful life. So these horror stories in our news are horrific, but they must not, do not allow them to dull your light, because they already dulled the light many years ago when the crimes were committed and the light was, for example, snuffed out of, these children's earthly incarnations. And so the barometer of light dipped. Of course it did. But don't let the second wave of, don't let there be a second wave of trauma, is what he's saying. So it's about managing the grief. It's about acknowledging what happened. It's about allowing the grief process, but doing it in a way that doesn't engulf you. Again, we're back to boundaries. We live in a world where we are fed 24/7 news. I have said repeatedly, let's take it off that subject now, but say there is something that happens in the news, a horrendous story that is happening live, as it were, or it's just happened, maybe it's a mass shooting or something, and the rolling news that just keep you hooked in. And what they're actually keeping you hooked into is the darkness and the trauma, and it's not helping you as a light worker. I sat down today, and you can't see it, but in front of me, I put out a great big white cloth on my table, and I've got my sprays that we sell. I've never done this before. I've got 3 white sprays. That's all that I wanted. 3 white sprays. It's this whole energy of purity coming in. But for purity to come in and for innocence to return to our planet, we have to be able to look at the suffering. And it's interesting because King of Swords, you see, is quite a detached energy. I mean, I've got an Aquarian moon, and today is also Princess Diana's birthday, and she also has an Aquarian moon. Lots of people have Aquarian moon. But the point about an Aquarius moon energy is it's actually quite a good template for these times that we're in. Because if you look at somebody like Princess Diana, and I'm going to put myself in this category because I know I'm a caring person. That's why I do what I do. I'm caring. I do come from the heart. But the moon is linked into how you do feelings. And Aquarius moon is, we can also be detached when we need to be. We can be detached when we need to be. It actually helps you to be able to do more good work, to be able to detach a little bit from it. It doesn't mean that you don't care. It just means that you don't become overly engulfed by the darkness and the trauma. There's something about witnessing, is what Metatron is saying. It's like being a witness to what has happened, acknowledging it, reflecting upon it, sending light to it, but not getting dragged down by it. So that Aquarius moon energy is actually quite a healthy template at this time to have. Okay, right. Let's just spray the white light. I've got it ×3. I mean, again, I've got it ×3. It feels very linked into the Trinity as well, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. You see, and as soon as I say that, we're back to the church, aren't we? What has been, you see, I've got the energy of Christ here now. And there's this thing about holy, I know not everybody agrees with these words, holy anger, but I personally do resonate with them. Holy anger at what has been done in my name. Holy anger at what has been done in my name. This was never about Jesus. This was never about Christ. This was never about his teachings. This was done under my name, but it was not my doing, is what he's saying. And I think it's time for people really feeling hot here, because it's like, again, the spotlight suddenly coming onto this subject. those of us that have worked with the Christ energy over many incarnations, and I've definitely had a lifetime as an Essene, for example. I also believe I was alive as a little girl during the time when Christ was alive. I was shown that in a vision once. I never talked about it much, but maybe I will just say it again. I was shown a vision of my father, who I can't identify in terms of a name or anything like that, but inviting Jesus into his home, where a group of people were assembled to, I suppose, teach, but it was like a social gathering. This was before the time that his ministry really took off. It was putting it bluntly, his fame, his infamy, it's like, it was before all of that, but he always had a presence throughout his whole life, including as a little boy. But the time frame that I was shown was of he only died when he was 33, so, he can't have been very old when he came into my father's house, but I guess, I'm not very good with dates. I'm feeling it was maybe like 1920, that sort of age group. But anyway, I was shown that, so I know I was there. But I remember, I in the vision, I remember watching it unfold. It's like a circle of people that were listening to him. So the point why I'm telling you this is because for those of us that have known Christ through many incarnations and have held the Christ light, when we see these abuses that have been done by the church, there is a righteous anger that comes through, because it's like that was never what the teaching was about. Jesus said, let the children come to me. He didn't say, abuse them, kill them. So it's a complete and utter travesty what has happened. But we mustn't stay, what Christ is saying now is he said we mustn't stay. We can feel the anger, but we mustn't stay in the anger, because anger corrupts us as well, and it lowers our light. And he's just saying, just be there for the children now. For those of you that are traumatized by this story, see the children that passed now, for example, in the arms of somebody like Christ. And if Christ is not the energy that you resonate with, well, see those children that passed over in the arms of whoever it is that you resonate with as an ascended master being, or just see them in the arms of God, whatever works for you. But that is the truth, because that's where they went. They went directly to light. And the light that they carried has been buried, as have their bodies, for many years. But that light is now going to, I'm being shown a series of lanterns that just light up the whole world. And what I mean by that is, again, the roving spotlight then turns to, it might be Northern Ireland. I keep feeling Mexico as well. I'm feeling Mexico. But to be honest, take your pick. It's going to be all over the world, unfortunately. So take it piece by piece, and I will help you. Jesus is saying, I will help you. I will help you assimilate it. I will help you deal with it. So we'll come back to that subject another time. And you see on the bottom of the deck here, we've got the energy of the Fool, which is very much symbolic of new life. That old cycle whereby it could be got away with will come to a close at some point, but not until we're ready to face it. And then when we face it and acknowledge it and can send our spiritual army light to fight it, we win. Okay, I'm going to move on from that subject, and I might come back to it in another video. Let's now get into the main body of July for you. Okay, let's see where Metatron wants to put the spotlight next. Let me just use the white light. This is white light, and it's a Merkaba energy spray, so it also helps us to activate our Merkaba light, which is highly protective. Okay, I'm going to pull a card from this deck, which is called the Priestess of Light Oracle by Sandra Ann Taylor and Kimberly Webber. Let's see what the next message is. July. Where is the spotlight going next, Metatron? Shamanic journey, purpose, attunement, and vision quest. And look at that, the white horse. He is a horse, he's not a unicorn. The white horse set against that white, powerful, I suspect that is the new moon in Cancer on the 10th. And the lady is dressed all in white. So we're going on a shamanic journey, and it's number 23. 23 is an energy linked into initiation successfully completed. It's as though we're all going on a vision quest. So for those of you that don't know what a vision quest is, don't know what journeying is, it's linked into the collective of which you are part, going on a journey to reclaim the energy of innocence and purity. That's why I'm surrounded by all this white light. It's just, it's ridiculous. It's just white cloth, white sprays, white crystals. Okay. Right, Metatron is saying this is also an attunement back to purity. He said this is a very important point. This is a very important point. What I'm next about to say. In a world whereby all of these horrors are coming forward to be exposed and to be revealed, you have to be reattuned back and reclaim the energy of purity and innocence and the belief in that. Because do you know how powerful it is? I don't think we realise we're doing it. When we get sucked into all of the horror and the drama, it's as though we don't realise, but we're almost giving allegiance to that. Because the devil's energy is seductive and it entices you in and it becomes compelling. I've spoken about this many times on my channel. The gallows type energy. It's like, tell me that story again, tell me the next chunk of horror. There are channels on YouTube at the moment who are just devoted to this stuff. There's a couple in particular that really concern me. And no, I'm not going to out them because actually a few people have tried to out them and they come for you big time. So I'm going to go undercover with that stuff and just try and hold the light and do what I'm doing. But it disturbs me greatly how many people want to watch and suck it up as entertainment. That's the really disgusting aspect of it. You're sucking it up as entertainment. We need to reclaim that what we are actually interested in is holding the light for purity and innocence. And what that means is you need to demonstrate it. You need to surround yourself with it. You need to become it. You need to be of pure heart and pure mind, is what I'm hearing. And to be of pure heart and pure mind means that you're not daily contaminating yourself with energy that is the polar opposite to that. And Metatron's saying, oh, you tell people that, and it's like you're taking all the fun out of it for some. And fun is maybe a strong word, but I'm going to stand by what I'm saying and what I'm channeling through here. Because okay, what Metatron's saying to me is the devil's energy can be fun. That's the whole point. Entices you in, sells you something. It's compelling, it's addictive, It's dramatic. Tell me more. Whereas, for example, the energy of purity and innocence, and yeah, let's take Christ, he modelled it beautifully, just sits there. I always remember, do you remember I think it was during a lot of the rioting in America last year, and it was one particularly pivotal time where America just felt like it was up in flames, and somebody asked for guidance on it. And I was just shown the image of people rioting, and Christ was just sitting in the middle of them, dressed in white, okay, just holding the space for peace and purity and balance. And a lot of people weren't even noticing that he was in that crowd, but some did notice, and they were attracted into the energy. So it's very easy also to be attacked when you stand up for purity and innocence, because people will say, oh, but you just don't want to know. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying learn about it, and then when you've learnt about it, it's enough. You don't have to keep digging and digging and digging. You hold the light. Can't get away from this message today. Okay, so we've got the energy of purpose, attunement, and vision quest. Attune to purity. Attune to innocence. Okay, let's pull one other card that goes with that. Let's stay with this deck. Anything else to say on this, please, Metatron? Sacred action, decisive focus. Okay. I was going to talk to you about focus anyway, so this card is a nice little reminder. Sacred action, decisive focus. And then we've also got river of blessings and releasing constraints. But let's talk about this card, sacred action, decisive focus. You see, taking action isn't just about running around doing. Sacred action, well, taking action is that actually. So it's just like running around, doing this, doing that, reading this, blah, blah, blah. Sacred action is different. Sacred action is about complete and utter focus and alignment and attunement to the light. It's what Christ modelled in that vision from last year, which is you sit whilst around you there's all this, trauma maybe, upset, drama. And it's not that you don't care about what's arising. It's the fact that you are doing this. Can you see how powerful that is? To be in that energy is powerful. It changes the world. Let's talk a little bit about focus. And let's take this into other areas as well now, if I'm allowed to. I keep coming back to this subject because obviously I know it's what Metatron wants to be talking about today, but he did also give me some things to say about focus a few days ago. So let's just get back into the energy of that. What you were saying about focus, Metatron. The fact that we're all unfocused, basically. How easy it is to be distracted. So I'm going to give an example here. This isn't attacking anybody because I'm just as guilty of doing this as anybody else, okay? I always put myself in the same group as you. You and I are one. It's we, okay? We all do this. But the example is, on my Facebook page this week, somebody asked me in a private message, they said, would you please just take a little look at what's happening in the Czech Republic? There'd been a bad tornado that had gone through the Czech Republic, one of the worst in living memory, very unheard of, very unusual. A lot of people had been, traumatized by it. Some had died, villages, devastated. So there was something about, it's interesting because I get asked to do readings on things all the time, but there was something about this particular request that it got through to me. And I thought, yeah, actually, I am going to do that. I know nothing about the Czech Republic. I know nothing about their politics or their weather. But there was something about the request, because it was focused, because the energy behind it was pure. The person asking the request didn't have an agenda in terms of, yeah, can you look at my country, but also I need to tell you that this is happening there, you know, and can you just confirm that that is the case? You often get that because people just want you to confirm their political leanings, for example. I haven't got time for all that. This was a very pure request. And so I responded and I did this little video, 15-minute video on Czech Republic. And it was 15 minutes because I thought I was going to put it on Instagram, but it was focused. Perfect. Of course it was focused. And then I put it up and I knew what would happen, which was that I was asking people just to focus on the Czech Republic. Because lots of other countries get the spotlight all the time, particularly USA, particularly UK, because I'm in the UK, so often I'll talk about the UK. But it's like, what about other countries? You know, they also need the spotlight shone on them sometimes, you know? It shouldn't be the loudest that always gets the attention. So, but yeah, the video went up and then straight away people were like, they weren't even acknowledging that it was about the Czech Republic. It was like, well, can you actually do one about my country? Can you do... I get it, guys. I get it. Honestly, I do, because I'm very guilty of doing it myself. But it was such a clear demonstration of what we don't appreciate is that if everyone had just watched that video and just focused on the Czech Republic and just sent light, funny, I'm just being drawn. There was just a little trickle of water just went all the way down my bottle as I was talking about that. Oh, okay, it would have released. Okay, because I know healers will understand this. When you do healing, you can get leakage from your eye. I get that all the time. Or if I meditate, my eyes just start to water. I'm not crying. It's a sign that there is healing happening in the body. The water is releasing. So when you focus intently on one subject, not 10, you get a bigger result. So it's like, no, just focus on the Czech Republic. It's not about America. It's not about Australia. It's not about South Africa. It's not about any of these other countries. It's just about the Czech Republic today. And, you know, this is Metatron as well. He was saying, this is what we need to learn. This is next level mastery, really. And again, it's the analogy of the spotlight, isn't it? So in July, see where the spotlight goes. You can focus on it a little bit. You can send healing to it. Remember to try and detach a little bit so you don't get dragged under. But then, release it. You know, you're not supposed to have all of the problems of the world on your shoulder. But it's focused intent. I've noticed it so many times. You know, I remember doing a little something when Sarah Everard died, who again, nice that I bring up her name because she was just this most beautiful, radiant, lovely young girl who was murdered by a police officer in the UK a few months ago. And it created a big outpouring from particularly women because it brought up the issue of safety and walking home alone and just the abuse of women, I suppose. And, you know, it was just a moment. It was a moment when the spotlight was just on that subject. And I remember talking about it. And again, straight away, people were like, well, yeah, but what about men? What about men and their abuse and their violence? And it's like, I get it, because what is underlying that is it's the wounding that we all carry. We've all got wounding. And so it's almost as though when there's a spotlight on something, which is a portal, it's like we want to lump everything else into it. You can't do that. You can, but you weaken it. You weaken all of it. It's much better to have focused intent. Okay, so we need to be learning this as a species, that when we send prayers and our light to one subject, it doesn't mean that we're not, you know, we've forgotten everything else that's going on in the world. It just means that the spotlight is on that for now. And that is to do with decisive focus and taking sacred action. And that creates the river of blessings, which is why I saw the water leaking out of here. How funny. And actually this bottle here It's got lapis lazuli in it, which is to do with vision. It's to do with laser vision, you know, third eye vision, having the focus. Hi everyone, I'm back. I just took a little break because I wasn't quite sure how to wind up this video, or indeed whether I should wind up this video, because I thought I was sitting down to do a general July reading, and it's obviously turned into something else, which is absolutely fine. It's the way that Metatron works. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back and do a reading on the new moon in Cancer on the 10th of July, where we will be able to talk about some of these other subjects and other energies that are around in July, you know, going back to what I said about the licorice all sort assortment. But this video needs to be what it is. I think I'd like to end it by talking a little bit about wound healing. But before I do that, I just shuffled some cards off camera, and this one came out, which just feels very appropriate for what we've been talking about so far in this video. This is from the Star Temple Oracle by Susie Cherub, and it says, Electra, the lost star rebirth, out of the darkness into the light. So it's so appropriate, isn't it? You know, in terms of what is being discovered and revealed in our world that has been in darkness, that has been hidden, but it's by the power of the light, and it's also by the power of the light that we have held over many, many weeks, months, years, and probably incarnations, that is allowing these disclosures to now come up. Okay, it's that's just beautiful confirmation. Let's just talk a little bit though about wound healing, because when the spotlight shines onto different areas, either in the collective or in ourself, okay, we've got the focus there, but you also need to then allow the recovery to happen, often when the spotlight goes off that subject or thing within the collective or within you. Okay, so let's just talk a little bit about that, because I feel as human beings, our nature is that when something is highlighted for healing, of course, we want it to all be solved today or tomorrow, you know, for the wrong to be righted. But there is a process that has to be gone through, may very well be judicial if we're talking about the collective. But when we're talking about yourself, let's bring it back to your own body now, and maybe a physical wound or an emotional wound where the spotlight has been put onto it. It takes a little time, okay? So it's bringing in the energy of patience needed, tolerance in terms of tolerating where your body is and not judging it. And I know that's hard if you've got a lot of things that maybe are physically wrong. Sometimes we see our body as the enemy that, you know, is unwell or ill, and it's like, well, you know, why can't you just heal yourself? I'm doing everything right. Why are you not yet back in equilibrium? But healing is this process which has a degree of mystery to it anyway, is complex, is multi-layered, but I also believe that we have the ability to self-heal. But you have to allow the process and let go of the control. It's been demonstrated to me in just a very simple way, you know, very simple way over the last week, because some of you probably know I've been off camera because I had some minor surgery just linked into taking off some lesions on my face and my ear in particular. I've had problem with basal cell carcinoma in the past. And so they watched me quite closely, and I think probably what's been taken away is actually fine. They weren't precancerous or cancerous, so I'm not at all worried about it. But again, it was precautionary, and it's better off than, you know, it developing into something else. But the point is that when you have a a wound, basically, because they have to remove it, and it creates a wound which then has to obviously heal and scab and then, you know, fall off, I suppose. It's a good demonstration of this need for patience. So I've still got this wound on my ear at the top here, which is really, really slow to heal. It's still quite painful. And it's because of course, being here, you forget it's there. And then in your sleep, I keep knocking it and interfering with it, not realizing I'm doing it. Washing your hair creates problems with it. Answering the phone and forgetting it's there and slamming a phone against it hurts. So it's really slow to heal. And I haven't meant to do it, but I've been interfering with the natural healing process. You know, it just wants to be left alone. It wants to be left alone to do what it needs to do to come back into balance and equilibrium and heal. But so often when we have a wound, what we do is we pick at it, okay? Think about it at an emotional level as well. It's as though it's interesting, in terms of emotional wounds, I think sometimes we don't believe it's maybe really even possible. I'm talking maybe about heartache here, so maybe like an emotional wound to the heart. So we keep going back in, we're literally metaphorically picking at scabs. And we just need to allow the process. Let me pull a card on wounding. Let's just stay with the 2 decks I've got out, actually. So a card on wounding, and anything to say on that, please. You see, again, the white light. White light, I'm not talking about spraying an open wound with any of the sprays, obviously, but surrounding a wound with white light is extraordinarily healthy thing to do, because white light is, again, it's to do with balance and purity. It's bringing that energy in. On the bottom of the deck, we've got this card, which is setting boundaries. Now, I talked about boundaries earlier, didn't I? So in terms of wound healing, what do I need to do to heal? That's what you need to be asking yourself. So there may very well be things that you're doing that you actually need to say no to. She's got a hand up there. It's like, no. So for me, just putting it in very simplistic terms, I knew I needed to be off camera. It wasn't a vanity thing. I mean, okay, I didn't look particularly great, but it wasn't actually really about that. It was partly about that, but it was far more about the fact that I knew that I needed all of my energy. When you come on camera, you actually give quite a bit of your energy away, which is fine, it's part of the job. But I knew I didn't have any energy to give, so I didn't want to be on camera. That's why I haven't been on camera for over a week. So that for me was part of my self-healing. It was about setting the boundaries. It's like, you can hear my voice, but you're not going to see my face, because I don't want you to see my face, because my face just wants a private little time on its own. Thank you very much. You know, that's what I truly felt. So think about the wound that you carry. What's coming up when I say boundaries? Setting boundaries, threshold, protection, and honor. Looking at this beautiful lioness here as well, which feels very sort of Leo energy. It's to do with when a wound is healing, it's being watched over effectively by your higher self, and it's also being watched over by spirit. Spirit has it in hand. It's interesting. It's like her hand is up there, but it's as though we can't help but go back in. I mean, I know a few people in my life who are complete hypochondriacs, and I have to say it's exhausting being around that type of person, because you can set in motion some healing. They might be on the right medication for them, for example. They might be doing the right thing for their body at that time. The number of times, like I've tried to maybe, for example, buy, I don't know, a holistic product, whether it's a book, whether it is, you know, some... When I say pills, I'm talking about this is vitamins and things like that. And it's like this person in my life who I love, it's like they'll take one and it's like, then it's just starting to have an effect. It's like, oh no, I'm not sure actually. Now I'm going to try something else. And it's like, no, just stay the course. It's like you've been guided to try that for a reason. It's as though people start the process of healing and then they often will abandon it because maybe it's not happening fast enough. It's not happening in the way they think it should happen. And so they change horses mid-stride, Metatron is saying. They change horses mid-stride. That doesn't mean don't try different things when you're trying to heal. It's not what I'm saying. Again, it all seems to be linked into this energy of focus. If you choose something and you believe in a methodology or an ointment or a potion, a lotion, whatever, give it a chance to work. There's a thing also that just before, if you take the example of a skin wound, just before it starts to really heal is when it actually looks the mankiest. I'm sorry, I know it's a bit gross, this whole analogy, but it is. It's dark, it's manky, it's like, oh God. And then suddenly, scab drops off and it's like, oh, underneath, that skin looks all rather pretty and new. And it's vulnerable as well. Again, think about a healed wound. There's a vulnerability there. It looks okay on the surface, but underneath there's still some other work to be done. It's like setting boundaries. If we take the example of skin, it's like, well, then don't go and sit in the sun for 12 hours. You know what I'm trying to say. It's symbolic. So we've got setting boundaries. Anything else to say in this reading, Metatron? But yeah, give yourself the space and time you need. And maybe that's what July is about. July is about we shine the spotlight, we see what's coming up for healing, we bring in the white light, we emotionally try and detach a little bit from dramas. Again, the thing with a scab, it's quite interesting because you can really get quite into the drama of it. The last few days, I was like, because it was really starting to look a bit dodgy, and I was thinking, oh my God, is it infected? Is it this? Is it that? I was like peering at the mirror, and it's like Metatron was like, leave it alone, Amanda. It's fine. Trust your own body to be able to heal this. There is no issue. But you're creating an issue by sort of staring at like, and you say, all right, is it this? Okay. Right. Trust your body is really what I'm trying to say. Trust the process is what I'm trying to say. Trust the healing journey. Yeah, look at that. Trust the happy outcome that the wound will heal, whatever your wound is. Look at that, joyful optimism, okay? Don't keep looking at it thinking, oh my God, is it going whatever, do I need to ring? Obviously, if it is going funny, ring somebody, but you know what I'm trying to say. It's all symbolic here. Try and be optimistic and joyful because that is the energy that also helps heal you and it helps heal the world. Grateful optimism, a joyous view of the future. I want to sort of go back into the main subject here of the video. Look, miracles on the bottom of the deck. Beautiful cards these as well. Give a shout out to this beautiful deck. The Priestess of Light Oracle. Sandra Ann Taylor, I always like her decks. I think she's very good. It's a beautiful deck, really beautiful deck. I'm loving using it. Look at this. When we believe in the miracle and when we remain positive and optimistic, it's when the breakthroughs happen for ourselves and for the world. Okay. So I think I am going to leave it there and I'm going to get this video up and I will be back and I will do a video for Cancer New Moon. I am also going to do some other videos on other subjects soon. I've promised you Michael Jackson. Interesting, he had all sorts of issues with his skin, bless him. I'm going to be doing that. I'm wondering whether to do Britney as well, actually. Britney Spears, it's been very requested because not in a gossipy way, and not in a sort of like, not in a gossipy way, in a way that I feel that Britney Spears is linked into the divine feminine energy. She has been under this conservatorship, which her husband, interesting I said her husband, anyway, her father has been in control of her life for the last, 10, 15 years? Hasn't even got the right to have a baby. It's a huge subject. It's bringing up, again, the subversion of the keeping down of the divine feminine. So, and there's something in Britney's energy as well, which her heart is very pure. She's very childlike. There's a very childlike innocence to her. So yeah, I think I do need to have a look at her energy and what it's showing for the collective. And I don't know what else I'm going to be doing, but I'm sure Metatron will tell me. I would like to end by saying happy Diana. I'd like to say happy birthday to Diana, who would have been 60 today. Let's pull a card for Diana. Princess Diana. Princess Di, as she's known here. I love you, Diana. Can you see, you might not be able to see, but this picture of her, which somebody sent me, they've stuck all of these jewels onto the photograph. But what's really interesting is that one of the jewels there, it's fallen off her crown, and it's what I know what's happening. It wants to head here. It's like she wants to have it here on her third eye. Is it called a bindi? I'm sorry, I'm a little bit naive with these things. I think it's called a bindi. The Hindu faith. It's like that diamond wants to go right there. Okay, she's saying the diamond wants to go into the third eye. She's saying that diamond light wants to come into our third eye. I pulled that card on Instagram the other day. Let me just find it. Diamond light. Okay, there's something about the diamond light. Think about diamonds. Diamonds are honed from rough situations. So what's going on collectively in our world and is being exposed is really rough, really rough. It's a really bitter pill to swallow, what's been happening. But it will birth this more golden age when we're able to fully accept the darkness in our, not accept the darkness in our midst. I'm trying to say to be able to truly see the light and dark in our world, to bring it into balance. And it's this card. It says, I focus on service and follow my higher purpose, the diamond star, destiny. We're destined for this diamond light that wants to come in. I actually feel that Diana wants to bring through a diamond light energy. I cannot make this stuff up. There's a delivery van just outside my house. He's knocking at my door. Bella's going to go nuts. Right, that's the diamond light arriving. I'm going to have to go and answer the door. Hold on. Okay, would you like to have a laugh and see what has just arrived? I'm going to have to get one of the cards out to explain, but they shouldn't even have arrived here. I've got 8. How many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 8 boxes of Archangel Metatron oracle cards. There's hundreds of them. They should have gone to Tracy. They've just arrived here. So, and they've just arrived as I was talking about Diana. So I'm going to get out the white card from the Metatron deck. Let's just get back in here. I know I didn't have to prove it to you, but I just think sometimes when these things happen, they're so bonkers that you think no one's ever going to believe the synchronicity of all this stuff. Right. So, I'm going to show you what that was all about. Let me just plug this back in. Hold on. Go over there. There we are. So that's about 100 Archangel Metatron Oracle decks that have just arrived, as I was talking about Diana wanting to bring through the diamond light. Those of you that have got my deck know what the diamond card is. Starters for 10. Can you remember what it is? I remember what it is, and it is just so extraordinarily perfect for this video. It is this. Let me get it out. You cannot make this stuff up. The diamond card in the Metatron deck is the card of purity and innocence, and it's the white ray. Diana, that was actually quite impressively orchestrated, I have to say. And I have to also say that on your 60th birthday, to basically have all those parcels that have just arrived in my home, I would have liked I just want us to be able to acknowledge that we all would have liked to have been able to have gifted her something today. It would have been lovely if parcels could have gone into her home, but actually what she's doing, and I'm going all shivery as I say this, is she is gifting us the diamond star. And she's saying, do this. Yes, this is the goddess Diana that you've been looking at all the way through this video. She's saying, do this in my name, please, which is focus on service and follow your higher purpose. Be the diamond star. So let's just bring the diamond light down. Tune into your crown chakra, higher chakras. And let's just allow Diana to come in. And do you know what she's doing? I'm feeling like she's actually just kissing very tenderly the top of your crown. Very much like a divine mother would, because she's like this divine mother template. That's what mothers do. They kiss their children on their crown. And you're just being gifted this beautiful diamond light coming down from Diana. And there's also some giggles coming down with it as well. Because white light and diamond light, it's all to do with childlike innocence as well. And radiance. And it's about, and I can now hear the giggles of some of those children that were killed. And they're with her. They're with her. They're with her. She's saying, I'm looking after them for you. There's a message there to some of the mothers, to some of the families that have lost children to these crimes committed by the church, elements of the church. Just got to relight the candle. So let's light this candle and dedicate it to all the children in the world. And let us be thankful that there have been such good people as Diana in our world. And equally, let's be thankful for the fact there are still many of us here now holding the light. I'm going to leave it there, guys. Take care. Much love. I'll be back soon. Love you. Bye.